Hey, what's going on, YouTube? This is the Troll King coming back at you after a very, very long hiatus. Really, it's only been a little over a month, and I don't even know if you missed me. But if you did miss me, I appreciate it. I missed you too. Life, man. So we had our son, our beautiful baby boy, Riker Zadrunas Foster, born September 10th, 2020. He was 7 pounds, 4 ounces, born at 11:58. So almost born on 9/11, but luckily the wife was able to push him out. That was drama, that whole thing. So, anyways, we have been dealing with that, learning how to have, an infant and keeping him alive and happy and fed, a lot of stuff. But also, between doing that, I wanted to do a little more cataloging. So, I guess I kind of failed the first mission statement. I have been, you can check with my coach, I can put up progress pictures. I kept up with the lifting, with the cardio, with everything during all of this. YouTube fell by the wayside, so I wasn't able to catalog and document as much of it as I wanted, because that was one of the things I wanted this channel to be about was, I have this kid now, and we're still trying to do this. Is it possible? So it is possible. Very, very difficult, at least for the first few weeks. Sleeping, something I didn't really think about that I should, I wouldn't say nobody tells you, but honestly, it's just something I should have thought about. When they're first born, their stomachs are so small that they have to eat every 2 to 3 hours. So it's, I always kind of thought, if your baby sleeps at night, oh, you're so lucky, or maybe you have a fussy baby. But for the first little bit, it doesn't matter if they're fussy or not. Like, you have to get up. And I was helping my wife with feedings, supplementing with a little formula. So my sleep was getting real trashy. And still having to do cardio because Coach and I decided we wanted to do a bit of a cut right as this happened, just because fuck my life, right? But it's going great now. He is getting to where he sleeps about 4 hours between feedings, and the wife has been letting me skip a feeding at night because I had to go back to work. And so things are kind of getting back on track and looking really good. And so I want to get back into this YouTube thing. So this is just a little intro that I want to put on the first video. There's a Troll King Cooks that's coming very, very soon. I got a couple album reviews that I want to be doing. One for the new Anal Death Rock album. So that's going to be coming up here in the next little bit. And then I just kind of want to try and stay a little more regular with it. And, maybe do a little something. So, but this you're about to see is Cobra and the Troll King. Me and Coach, our little podcast / just video we do. Shooting the breeze and talking about pro shows. There's a few that we had missed and one that just happened. So we're going to be doing another quick one here hopefully today. But I just wanted to touch base and let you know where things were, how things were, That's all I got. My lips look weird. Cold weather, man, it dries it out, and then it gets it rips them open. As cold weather, your knuckles, lips, things like that get dry. And then when they scab over, it's real scratchy on my lips, so I can't stop fucking with it and peeling the scabs off, so they're not healing very well. But anyways, just in case you wanted to know that. But here's the video, guys. Thanks. And we're recording. What's going on, guys? Troll King and the Cobra back at it.
What's up, man?
Not much. Life is it's been quite a bit. A month ago had our son Riker, so it's been a weird battle of trying to figure out sleep wise what to do with everything.
You look well rested, man. You look like you'd be getting some rest.
It finally, within maybe a week ago, it started getting really. He finally got to where he was 3.5 hours or so between feedings, and Beth started letting me skip a feeding so I could, my sleep's still not perfect, but my sleep has never been perfect because I just can't sleep very much.
Yeah.
5.5, 6, yeah, 5.5, 6 hours is, I'm crisp. That's all I need. So that finally started getting good to the point where, because it was obviously perfect storm where we had him, and just from a couple of months of letting myself get a little too sloppy, we started a cut right as I had the kid, which, so one thing I wanted to discuss, we don't have to discuss the specifics of my diet or what was happening, but a little coach's corner action, since obviously you're a lot more knowledgeable about the stuff than I am, and you are indeed coach. Is there a point that you know of, because obviously we've talked about before, full-time work and sleeping during work weeks, it's just going to be a little tough. You can get by with your 5 hours, 6 hours, if that's what's going to happen. But when you start getting to the point of I was getting 2 to 2.5 hour chunks, then up for an hour, then another 2.5, then up for an hour, maybe probably 2 times, and then I was up for the day. So just running on fumes, and your will takes you to a certain point, but obviously, main thing, obviously, when you start losing a lot of sleep, your cortisol levels start rising. And do you think there's a point where it can get bad enough that without medical grade help of some kind, that your natural fat burning capabilities in your body will just drop, like plummet? Because one thing I started to notice with the lack of sleep, because sometimes I'll run fat burners, but I don't like to do it for any more than like a few weeks at a time, just for your heart. I mean, there's any good fat burner is going to have some stimulants in it. So I usually try to do 2 to 3 weeks on, 2 to 3 weeks off. And in the 2 to 3 weeks off, man, it honestly was beating me down mentally more than anything. I felt like I was dieting as hard as I could. Like I just was not. I wasn't having a handful of this like I did during a prep or anything like that. And it just felt like, I mean, you saw it. It was like 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds, just fighting uphill.
Yeah, I look at it like this, man. Yeah, that messes up your fat burning capability by a good bit. I think the deeper sleep that you can get increases how much fat you're actually burning, because it's kind of like your computer or your phone charging. Like if you're playing games on your phone, or if you're on Instagram all day and you got the screen on 100%, you're only going to get, so much. But even if it's charging, but if the phone's off and you're not messing with it, then it charges so much faster, right? So that's kind of like what our body can do. It can digest more. Your growth hormone rises while you're asleep. And yeah, you burn more fat while you're asleep because it's not doing anything else. It doesn't have to keep you moving. Your brain is calmed down, everything. It can focus on those things. So if you're getting, 2 hours here, an hour there, and waking up, you might not even be in that mode to where your body's like, okay, let's actually start burning. You might only get there for about 15 or 20 minutes before you got to get up again. Or you might be so fried, like you said, especially if you're taking stimulants or drinking coffee, to deal with your son or just deal with your schedule. That's going to interfere with all of that. So, yeah.
That definitely, I've always had, full disclosure, always going to be honest with my YouTube audience. I've always had a problem with caffeine and with stimulants. And by the problem, I mean, I abuse them. I take in a lot of caffeine with pre-workouts.
You're not alone with that, man, because caffeine is a drug and it's a legal one, There's plenty of people, that have that kind of dependency on caffeine,
Yeah, and so that the sleep is helping with that. One thing I noticed though that did start to help toward the end of that, whenever you and I first started working together, and I started doing cardio, and I was taking fat burners as my first time ever doing it. The working theory that you and I have always used, at least for me, is I'll train and then I'll do cardio right after. The idea being that obviously the muscle glycogen is basically spent during my workout, which is all the carbs are out of the cells. So ideally, it's just pulling out the fat when you do your cardio.
Right, you're already in a depleted state. Exactly right.
One thing I was reading up, I was looking at Trained by JP's supplement site, because I'm a supplement whore, and whenever I see things like that,
yes, you are, dude. You are, bro. You'll buy whatever is the most expensive just to see.
In my defense, I didn't buy anything. But not in my defense. The only reason I didn't buy anything is because he's in England and the shipping was like fucking $30. So I was looking at it, and it made me think in a different direction, because I was out of fat burners and I wanted to buy a new one. And I like to look at stuff like when it's guys like that make a living with the nutrition stuff, like conceivably would have half an idea of what the hell they were talking about. I like to look at their stuff and read about it. And their fat burner thing is powder form, which I'd never seen for a while. But the whole point to it that he was talking about was that you were supposed to, because the way I always took my fat burners when I started was I would train, then take a fat burner, and then go at the cardio to obviously reap the stimulant benefit. Some fat burners are like the one that I got from Max and Sledge was supposed to be just a general one, like take it in the morning and it's just throughout the day. It's supposed to amplify your fat burning capabilities. But I like it almost like a cardio pre-workout, with how I am. And his looks like it was supposed to be used that way, because what he had said specifically was you get to a certain point, and I want to know what you think about it. What I used to like about doing cardio right after weights was that I felt like my heart rate was already so elevated that I could just carry it into my cardio.
Right.
But what I started to find when I was really depleted and my sleep was just gone was that it wasn't happening like that anymore. That my heart rate would elevate during weights, but it would drop during cardio. And to get my heart rate to go back up to where it needed to be, I had to damn near kill myself, which I can do. But when I'm doing 45 minutes, it's just burning. It's burning. It's hard. It was really hard to keep that consistent. Like if I'm on a treadmill, I got to be like running at 4.0 on the full incline to get my 135. Even with steps, I had to get up to level 8, level 9, which I never had to do. I can usually get to 135 on like a level 5. So rather than buying that fat burner for, I think it was going to end up being like $75 after the shipping. So that was a little much even for me. Because again,
no need, man, no need. So like,
I don't want to diss on Trained by JP site. Obviously, his stuff is super fairly priced. It's just that I'm in America, so the shipping is outrageous. But like, how do you feel? Do you feel like you get to a point where it actually your heart rate almost adapts, and it actually is hard to get back up to that point?
Yeah, man. It's like anything else. You do build up a tolerance. Caffeine is actually a strength drug too. So I say use it in that aspect. I would do 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off with something like caffeine. You do have to use it for work, so I would try to only use it for work and use it and use stem stuff every once in a while. And kind of, if you do have an issue, or if you know that you kind of have an issue with caffeine, then focus on buying more non-stem things in general, and then just add the caffeine to it. So take a caffeine pill with it, or a capsule or something, because I've had the tablets before and they're disgusting. So see if you can find like a caffeine capsule, and just take that with the pump, product that you're taking, or the mixture that you're taking at the time. When you do want that extra for a little bit, something. But yeah, man, I wouldn't become dependent on stuff like caffeine, because the tolerance, just like anything else, drinking, etc., your tolerance will build up pretty quickly, especially with that. Especially if you're one of those guys that is, bragging about taking 2 scoops of, whatever the fuck it is. It's like, okay, let's see what the label says. Like, how much caffeine is 2 scoops? Some things are fine to take 2, 3, 4 scoops. What is in it? Let's see what's in it. If it's got a lot of caffeine and you're taking 2 scoops, that's not good to do over and over again. Especially these guys doing 2 a days, taking 1.5 scoops, stuff like that, and then drinking on top of it like a Monster or a Red Bull, or drinking coffee along with that. You got to watch out for your adrenal glands for sure.
I remember it was a big, just tell an embarrassing story about myself, because the only reason I feel like I've attained any level of infantile wisdom is because I've just been so stupid at various times in my life. If you remember, I don't know how long you've been in the gym. When Bang first came out, it was marketed as like a workout thing. You could only find it in gyms. Like it wasn't commercially available anywhere. And you remember that gym, SC Barbell?
Yeah.
When I started doing strongman in 2013, there was this dude, Mike Murtaugh, something. But he was the guy that organized like competitions for them, and he would train, and he was drinking Bang, and all it said was like EAAs and creatine and all.
Creatine, yeah, I remember.
This was before I had ever met you, so I didn't even fucking look at labels. I was just like, cool. So I would take my pre-workout, start working out, and I'd slam like 2 bangs during the workout like it was nothing. And it wasn't until it became commercially available and I started looking at it, I was like, holy fuck, there's 300 milligrams of caffeine in each one of these. Like, that's like 800 or 900 milligrams of caffeine that I was getting on those days.
That's excessive, yeah.
Wondering why my fucking blood pressure was spiking real hard.
Like, your blood pressure, even your, everything's messed up when you're doing that, man. I mean, it's just too much.
But that's something I was like bragging about. Like, look how much caffeine I can take. I legitimately was so stupid. I just didn't even look. I didn't know how much caffeine.
You can accidentally become dependent on it, and then you're gonna have withdrawal from it as well, just like anything else.
That's a big. You're talking about pre-workouts in general. Something that Fuad kind of touched on when it comes to, because people always go to the caffeine on their pre-workouts. If it's a stimulant pre, there's a lot of shit in there that's a stimulant that's not caffeine.
It'll
Like,
be like, oh, theobromine or, dicaffeine malate or something. It's like 2 or 3 or 4 different names for, hey, this is a stimulant. This is caffeine or DMHA or DMA. It's like, man, that's all, it's just a caffeine substitute, So you're stacking all those on top of each other. It makes you feel, some of them do make you feel great, but I think they make me feel good because I don't take them all the time. Like, so I kind of, I feel like, you feel great and amped up for the workout. So like right now when I'm off on my 7-day, I might, I'd have no sleep issues right now. I'm not working in a work cycle. I might take it, 2 or 3 times in addition to whatever else I'm taking. But I'm gonna let my little dog out. He's about to start whimpering. He trapped himself in here with me. Come on, buddy. Whiny. But yeah, man. So I try not to do too much. I like pump. I like focus. If I'm gonna add some, but I have nothing against it. I don't want to sound like I'm bashing it, but I would just keep it in moderation, especially if you're not taking anything. If you're not getting enough sleep in the first place, like yourself, and if you're not taking anything for like adrenal support. So I'd take something, Andrew makes me take some Revive supplements. So I've taken that on top. If you're not taking anything like that, then yeah. And your sleep's not so great, you got to chill on the caffeine.
But so all that to say that for the past few days, I've been experimenting with, for 2 years now, I've been doing my cardio directly after weights just to get it all done. But now, and it'll be harder on days that I go back to work starting tomorrow because this job's different than Saturday. I got to get up. If I'm going to do cardio before anything, I got to get up at 3, which is just rough. But so I've been doing my cardio in the morning, like when I wake up, before I do breakfast. And that's only to make sure I do it. Like I've honestly not seen any real difference between fasted or not fasted cardio. I do it fasted because if I mentally make myself think that I can't eat until I do it, it's like it makes me do it.
Yeah.
And then after my second meal, I'll go and do weights. So I've started doing weights farther away from the cardio. And so far I've had a shoulder and arm day and a back day that have just been amazing. Because I started to notice.
That's the way to do it, man.
While I was going through all this, while the cardio was getting to be where it was giving me this really big mental block. So like during my weight sessions, it's not that they were necessarily bad, but I was definitely holding back because I was just thinking in my head, like if I go all out and don't leave anything in the tank, like I'm not going to do this cardio. Like I won't be able to finish it. So making sure the cardio is done first and going in, relatively fresh, especially today, that was one of the first times in a while I've had, I know those workouts, the ones where you get in there and it just feels like everything you put your hands on in your mind, you just know, like, I'm getting this shit for at least 8 reps.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no question in your head.
Yeah, you need to keep it like that, then, man. That's how I run it during prep. Along with that cardio, I might hit something like abs or calves or something like that too. But yeah, it clears my mind too. And it's like that peace of mind of already having it out of the way. That kind of makes that workout so much better later on in the day because I'm like, I'm going home after this. I'm about to, rock this, like this is it,
It helps you fall back in love with the weights because it's not the cardio. The cardio is a chore. No matter what mental strength I want to think I have, there's no part of it that's like fucking cardio. It's just good. Yeah. It's a thing that
especially a lot of cardio, like 20 minutes. And sometimes it's nice to. Maybe you look at a podcast or two or like clear your head and listen to some music or some meditation and like just the fact that you're up and doing something, kind of get your brain going. But after 30, 45 minutes, an hour and a half, it's like, okay, no. And it's every day. Yeah, I just points where your joints and stuff are hurting.
Yeah, dude, especially since the one downside I've found to this bike is that when I really go hard on it and bump the resistance up, like I get such a hard pump in my legs. Like after about 15 or 20 minutes, I'm like,
hey, I say keep it going because your legs, even though they're big, they could use some more some fullness. So they might as well, if that was helping them round them out, fill them up with blood.
Oh,
Say wear occlusion bands next time. Don't put them on too tight. But,
Jesus Christ. 45 minutes. Oh, God. With the inclusion. Just going to, like, take
don't
one.
be a bitch. Try man up.
How's your how's your bodybuilding life going right now, man? How's things?
Everything's good, man. So I just did a little comparison for myself because, of course, I take my pictures every week and sometimes twice a week. September, it was like September 9th or 10th with my pictures from October 9th, 2 days ago or whatever. And I've gained 1.5 pounds and I'm leaner. And
Nice.
it's obvious, and it is what it is. It's straight up, boom, there in your face, and it's gone gradually there, this past few updates. So I'm going in the right direction. So it's plain as day, which feels good. It's obvious that I'm going in the right direction, doing the right thing. So I just got to keep going, man.
So are you looking?
The toughest thing right now is meals, and I'm just gonna start having to add a little bit of trash in or something like that to help me get the food down at this point, I think. So, or make the meals a little dirtier than they should be, just to help me accept more of it or make it easier for me to get this stuff down. So at this point, I've been force feeding for a while, and that's the only thing that's been working at this point. Because I can't, the volume is just too much, in general. So only way to go now. But going in the right direction, man.
Yeah.
Training's good.
People,
Aaron's actually, Aaron, right? He's 6'5". On the team. He's coming out he moved to Greenville, but he's actually coming tomorrow, and we're hitting chest and delts. So that'll be fun.
Nice.
He's always good to train with because he's freaking 300 pounds. So he's going to lift buildings up. I'm just basically going to train him, but I'm sure I'm going to get some in there too. But, yeah.
You're pretty fucking strong in the chest. You just think you're not.
Man, my bench is the weakest thing ever because my arms are so lanky. Like I don't have a weak chest, but I have a weak bench press because my arms are so long. But that's okay. No excuses. I'm gonna get that thing up anyway.
Yeah, I've kind of made peace with the fact that I get it. Like if I load 5, like I had that thing a while ago, and I did that incline machine at this Snap, which is a great machine. The only thing I hate is, do you remember the one at the work gym, the plant where we worked at? There was an incline thing where it's like you press and it came in a little, and the little things that it rested on, you could adjust it, like raise it. Because for me, especially when it gets heavier, when it's that far down, you're just asking to tear a pec. I mean, it's just too far back. That's a really vulnerable place to start. So I have to literally I get one side and inch and get it up, and then I have to grab the other. And so
we have the ones with the feet things, man. You know what I'm talking about, where you have to use the feet first to pull, and it pulls the handles forward for you, and then you can grab, and then you let your feet go, and it pulls back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, we've got that at the couple gyms around here, Wolf's and a couple other ones, and that's a lifesaver. I feel like they need, that's what they need that's what's missing on that machine.
Well, we don't have it here.
Yeah.
That gym that I was going to when I first moved to Los Campeones is an amazing gym. It's just, it's like 35 minutes away, and it's during the regular year. That's not, for a great gym, you just make the trip. But it's like a smaller, more hardcore gym, real compact. So I don't know how it would be with COVID. The nice thing about a Snap is it's right here, and there's never anyone there. The equipment is not amazing.
How big do the dumbbells go?
Huh?
How big do the dumbbells go?
100. That's it.
Well, as long as you make it out to the other gyms every once in a while, you got to have one gym in the rotation that goes at least like 130s.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the Los Campeones goes heavy. I'm not even gonna lie. In the winter, when it starts getting snowy, I do not like to go up and into the cities. And the only thing is, I can drive in the snow. It's not a big deal. But the thing is, in places where I live, where it's real residential, It's wide open. You can get plows through and get the road cleared, and it's fine. But in the city, everything's so compact, you can't get a plow. So when it snows and a lot of cars drive over it and starts packing it in, it becomes ice. And so I went there once when it was like winter, and it was like a straight ice rink in the parking lot. I was like, I don't need this in my life.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that either. I don't blame you, man.
And I can make it work with Snap. Like honestly, it's a lot of basics, but like that machine has a really good profile to it. It's just getting it up is kind of an ag. But all that to say that, you know, I can't like flat bench. I can get like 375 if I really work at it. But that's just it. That's one rep. That's and I just can't make it move. My arms aren't quite as lanky as yours, but they're kind of lanky. And just I'm not really fond of it. So I understand that me putting 5 plates on a chest press machine, it's not that impressive. It's obviously not as impressive as benching 5 plates or even benching 4 plates. But at this point, whatever, man.
You try to grow your chest, man, not bring your bench up.
Yeah,
you know,
it got to that point.
I'm sure one will lead to the other anyway. So
yeah, like who am I doing this for? Just like with squat, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just being standing straight up, but I've done hack, leg press, pendulum, even that little. There's the pendulum squat, and there's that one I forget what it's called, but it's like the little thing on your shoulder, and it's kind of I don't know, and all that feels great, but an actual barbell squat just kills my knees. It just destroys them. Like
just leave them out.
Yeah, but it's just little things.
Yeah.
So the things that look great on Instagram, I'm never gonna get those. I'm just not gonna be that.
You can get bad knees and feel cool to some people you don't care about. It's not gonna get like 30 likes and then like how you fucked up knees. Cool, super cool.
Look at all these followers.
No. Not a good idea. Yeah, screw all that, man.
But so, getting into it, the last thing we did was Tampa, and the bodybuilding world has kept moving. Right after Tampa, was New York? I think it was 2 or 3 weeks after Tampa.
Yeah, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah.
Obviously, Ian won. Got him some redemption. Apparently, it was a little controversial, but I don't know.
A lot of controversial, yeah.
To absolutely to his credit, he did look better at the New York than he did at Tampa. And from what I've seen with the New York, I've seen at least 3 different lightings that did look different. So it could absolutely be that just the stream wasn't good. If it was in person, that's a different story. Yada yada yada. Obviously, there's a big drama between Milos and Ian. Milos being a bit of a troll. Super passive aggressive.
I thought Ian might have handled that a little poorly, but ever since then, I think he's been so cool with everybody on social media and like uploading pictures and like not whining, about how he's, about stuff, whether who's bothering him. It's like, man, don't worry about those people. Yeah, I think he's doing that. I think he's doing that. So I'm cool. I think that's awesome.
It's just like one thing that always made me think, because as a fan of the sport, I mean it's bodybuilding. As fans, the way we engage with it is criticizing, critiquing.
Yeah,
obviously, some people take it to a personal level. Some people take it to an extreme level, and that's not cool either. But I remember very vividly. I had never thought about it until I was watching Fuad's The Real Bodybuilding Pod when he had Jay on. And everyone is always, without even thinking about it, talked about in 2007 that Victor got screwed, that Jay didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
And he was interviewing Jay, and it was super awkward because Jay just deadpan like Jay does. Like, well, what do you think? Do you think I won that?
Oh, wow. Like, what'd he say?
Trying to remember his exact wording. Real diplomatic. Like, well, I could see. I mean, you won some shots, and
I want to know what I'm curious. I'm so curious what he said because I mean.
So I didn't even think about it.
I don't know. What do you think about it?
Jay was. I mean, I think Victor beat him. I think Victor beat him. I think the case has been in the past like 20 years at the Olympia. We've always seen it you get one gimme where the judges are really like, "Bud, you gotta tighten it back up." And then if you come back in again, they take it. It happened to Jay. He got his gimme in 2007 where the judge was like, "Look, you're Jay Cutler. We're gonna give this to you. Victor's kind of up and coming. He hasn't really paid his dues yet, but you got to tighten it up." 2008, he didn't tighten it up, and Dexter took it out from under him. That's what happened with Phil and Sean Roden. They told Phil, "Look, man, you gotta get this back under control." Even the years that people were talking about how shitty Phil looked.
It was Sean in 2017 that almost got him. Or 2016, or right?
Yeah, I think it was 2016
or
2015. I don't even. One of the years.
One of those years he got.
One of those years it was almost Sean.
I'm getting mixed up. Yeah.
As much as everybody talks about Ramy, I don't think Ramy was ever even in striking distance of taking out Phil Heath.
Yeah, when he was second, it wasn't a close second. I don't think.
No, it was.
I thought Bonac could have won the year that Ramy got second and Bonac got third. I thought Bonac was fighting for winning. Like he could have, if he had been in first or second, or if they had bought, Bonac and Phil out in the last two, I would have been okay with that. I would have saw that. I saw that a lot easier when I saw Ramy coming in second.
Yeah, but and that's the kind of. But one thing that Jay said that I always thought about, or that I can't stop thinking about, is like which feels worse, like if I had gotten second place and lost my crown, or to win it and everywhere I go people can't stop talking about how I didn't deserve it. Like, and so I will say that gives me pause, like when I talk about bodybuilders and how they place, or if somebody got robbed, and it's, what are you supposed to react? Like if you want, like obviously the drama at New York Pro is Max Charles. Everybody feels like Max, he got overlooked, that he was in the best condition, that Ian was still soft, like it wasn't looking great. And so if you want to be loyal to Max Charles, you want to say, yeah, a guy probably got overlooked. But yeah, I'm sure that does feel kind of shitty for Ian to like win it, but you don't really get to savor it. I mean,
yeah, he is now though. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think he is now.
It was dramatic for like a week, and then it, obviously we're coming at this way later, so it's water under the bridge or over the wherever the water goes.
Water under the creek, through the bridge, and over the river.
But so the big story that I think, because that's not really a big story. Ian's a pretty emotional guy. He's always upset about something.
That's old news, man.
Yeah. But the big news to me was for California, you got Antoine that finished in like 8th at New York, 7th or 8th.
I think it was 7th.
Fast forward a week, wins. And I was like, oh. I mean,
and his pose routines are nasty, man. His pose routines are nuts.
Yeah. And it's that's one of those that even if, nobody really took, the only thing people talked about in California was the lighting was just straight ass. Like everyone looked just awful. Yeah. I mean, just super dark.
I can never say enough how I wish there were just like a real, like a channel or a network where we could actually watch stuff in HD.
Yeah.
At least the American shows. I mean, shouldn't be that difficult, but I don't know.
What I understand, it's not even just pictures. Like even in person, they look like ass at California. Like it was just, the lighting was awful. Like
yeah.
Everybody looked muddy and blocky. Even Max Charles looked a little blocky. But I don't know. Like I'm honestly not sure if everything with Max Charles was just lighting, because honestly, you got a little bit of a shelf life when you start doing these shows back to back to back to back. I mean, the blade gets a little dull. You can't keep getting the really great peak.
No pun intended.
But
no, yeah, he wasn't as sharp as when he, was next to Ian, and because you're talking about him competing right after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he wasn't quite as sharp. So
I don't know if Max Charles is doing Chicago.
If he is, I don't think. I'm not sure. I don't know if he's up there as far as can he beat Nick Walker? Can he beat who are the other two big guys?
I know Justin's doing it.
Yeah, Justin. I mean, can he
And
beat Justin? Can anybody beat Justin?
my money's on Justin.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest,
So,
my money was on Justin for the New York. I think, and if he can improve on
yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
on
I
New York,
think he should have had New York too.
then
He easily had it from the back, and he
yeah,
had it. He had the conditioning from the front. It was,
his
I don't
waist
know.
was his waist was thick, but it was proportional. It wasn't. I mean, it's like a Jay Cutler waist, where he did what he needed to do, where he had the sweep and the big lats to complement it.
The condition was on point. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you have a V and your conditioning is good, I don't know why everybody's so caught up about the waist. I mean, this is open bodybuilding. It is what it is.
He's having a good year, man. So if he does well, he'll do well here. You know, where do you think he'll place in the Olympia?
Oh, geez. That'd be an interesting. I'd really love to see
You
him be in
think
there.
you think he'd be in the top 10?
I do, actually.
I could possibly see that
I think
around 10.
I hate to say it because he's such a good dude, and it was so great to see him win a show. I think Antoine's going to catch an ass kicking at the Olympia.
Yeah, he just needs size, but he's still gonna have fun. He's still gonna have probably one of the best, if not the best, like him and Terrence, and they're probably gonna have the best routines, you know.
Yeah,
So
I think it'll be fun to see. Because I think is Sergio doing Chicago?
no, he's
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
competing.
I thought I had seen.
Unless there's coming in like a surprise. He did like post pictures like he was, getting ready for a show.
Yeah,
And then I think him and Chris said they weren't doing anything. They were just shutting it down.
because I think for a minute he thought he was going to be good on points to get into the Olympia. I think just from his Arnold placing, because Arnold placings are worth your weight in gold. I mean, you can get in for pretty not low, but
I'm not sure where he is on the point standing. I'm not sure.
I don't think he
I know
expected.
there was a question about Ramy and versus somebody else that's about to do Chicago that might knock Ramy out. I forget who it was.
I'm not sure. Is Ramy good on points right now off his third place?
I think he's good on points until Chicago. I think somebody's about to knock him out of points.
Yeah, yeah. Chicago's going to be. I know.
I think he's on the line. I think he's like right there. I think he's in, but he's not about. He won't be.
Yeah, I know it was very. Jesus, watching Fuad's thing, you get a little misty. I think. I mean, he'd be the first to tell you. I don't think he was going to in contention to win Chicago, but he was looking good and he was looking diced. It was definitely looking like he was going to get what he wanted.
Yeah, it would have been cool. It would have been cool for him to go out and do one last one, and him like have that, him just. Yeah. I mean, the pictures, the journey, the process of putting the tan on, shaving, getting right. He's probably been working on the routine. Because I know posing was a big thing to him. That was like how he expressed himself.
Good routines, great routines.
So not being able to do any of that. It just sucks, man. But I wonder if he could have just showed up, with drinking and doing the same thing. My last prep, I've said it 1,000 times, we didn't do anything different. The same stuff I was eating, 2 months out is the same exact meal in the water I was having the day of the show. Mm-hmm. I had a Pop-Tart, I added a Pop-Tart. That was the only thing that was different. So it's like, I wonder what he's doing now where he just feels like he has to manipulate water. Maybe just don't, maybe don't manipulate water.
Yeah, because
maybe just come in, man. Maybe just come in shredded like you would to go to the gym and you're just ready, Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Maybe come off of everything that you're on, do a detox, but still show up, show up. You're already and it'll be what it is. Maybe just, I don't know.
But
you could post the stuff for your kidney, and everybody will see. It'll be obvious if you don't want to show I don't know, like you're not your best. If you want to prove that, this is the reason why, just show your kidney stuff and then put your routine, but at least do the routine. Everybody wanted to see it. I would want to see it.
This is
He's
big.
nuts
He's
at
got a
that.
lot of fans, and especially since he's really blown up his presence in social media, he's gained new fans that wanted to see. I obviously he's a grown man, and obviously he's in a different spot now. His podcast is doing amazing. He's got a really successful supplement company. So
He's got
obviously
good supplements too, man.
great. I love it. Like I
Yeah.
actually love his stuff because it's big on the biggest thing to me is do I feel it, which I do on his pre-workouts. With essential aminos, I usually just go for mixability and for it to be not too expensive. Because to be perfectly honest, I don't really feel anything off the essential aminos. It's something it's good to drink, especially now that I'm doing the fasted cardio to give myself something. Just get those aminos in there, so I feel like I have something in my system keeping the protein breakdown from being too bad. Doing the workout without anything, but yeah, great shit. And a clothing line that's doing really well. So it was sad to see. And it's always sad when you see somebody that's usually pretty stoic.
It's sad to see him sad about it.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just like, man, if that's how you truly feel, I know you probably wanted to get on stage. Just fucking do it. Like it's different. It's different than like those other people that aren't ready for a show because they didn't diet or because they're out of shape and they come to like an NPC show and they're fucking it up for everybody else. You know what I mean? This is not that. It's different. So I think it would have been okay. That's why I say like, man, it's a different circumstance.
Even
it didn't have to be like you were competing. It just had to be like, this is what it is.
I mean,
I think it would have been cool. So.
Yeah, what he looked like just with his pictures, like they was posted in the locker room, he looked better than he did in 2017.
Yeah.
I mean, so it would have been an improvement. I mean, shit, Johnny came to the Arnold and looked like ass, but he still did it. I mean,
yeah.
So.
And Flex Wheeler, he's my favorite of all time. He did not look good when he came back. That was not good. Neither did Kevin. So it would have been better than both of those.
Yeah, Kevin. But
those are both my favorites all time. Like those guys are awesome.
So that's Chicago. It's coming up.
Yep.
Yeah, Nick.
I gotta look at the list again if we're gonna talk about Chicago. Let's talk about the show that just happened.
That's what I was about to transition into. It's like we can talk about what's gonna happen. Let's talk about what just happened. Luckily enough, Spain is like way the fuck ahead of us time-wise, so the show happened today and it's already done. See if I can find some pictures. I got my Instagram up, so we can do a little screen sharing. Let's see. Refresh that. Just to really show that I'm not a professional. Don't already have things pulled up. I want to find a good picture. Obviously, James Hollingshead, just one of the absolute, seems to be one of just the sweetest dudes in this sport, just genuine guy, really, really, really awesome person, the kind of guy you want to see win some shows. And
a dense son of a gun. That's how he took it, man. So I'll get it. I'll go ahead and say it.
Yeah.
He won. It was pretty much between him and Rafa until they turned around, and then he didn't have anything for him, so he took it home. And he was dense. He was built like a brick house. And
Jesus Christ.
There was just nothing anybody could really do about it. They had Regan looked like he was going to be third. I think maybe he ended up in fourth, and Oslerville got third, which I see that too because Oslerville he placed in the Olympia. He was like top 7 or 8 or something like that.
Definitely top 8. Something that Ian had said on Fuad's The Bodybuilding Bollocks that I really didn't think about is, people talk about Lucas Osladil. Jesus Christ, just look at that. Look at that sweep. But, because Osladil, when he's fresh, is dangerous. he'll come in and he'll snatch it away from you. You don't think about it because he'll do 5 or 6 shows and everybody
He's not gonna come in off, man. And
yeah.
those glutes are never gonna go away. Those glutes are gonna haunt you, bro. Like he's always gonna have the glutes. Like that's not like a, Meanwhile, everybody else is trying to work on getting them. He's like, it's a standard. That's standard issue. It's coming.
I want to get some shots.
You can't run from it.
Because that's where, is this 212 or is this, that's 212. Let me check out Maximum Muscle, maybe Bodybuilders Without Borders. Because his back shots are where it's like, Jesus Christ. Like, what? What?
Yeah, I mean, he put a hurting on him. Everybody's lines were really nice in this show, I will say, though. Like, the posing in general was really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Samson Dowda got 5th. Okay, Rafa got 3rd. Ozlito got 2nd. Yeah.
Yeah, all the Brazilian fans.
I think I said Rafa got 2nd. Ozlito got 2nd. So, which was great. I mean, I could see that. He was ripped to pieces. I mean, he was sliced, and he's thicker than Rafa. So,
like this.
I wish there were better pictures for this too, but.
God damn, man. Like, you can make the case that certainly Brandao and even Regan in certain shots were a little more shredded than James was. But, like, you just hit it. Oh, look at this.
I think it's just not coming off right. I think James
look at James' legs from the fucking side. Look at those legs.
Look at that. Are you kidding me? Yeah, nobody can handle that.
That's fucking 7-8 plate squats. And that back.
In this one, everybody's kind of stacked except for Rafa. Because even Regan's, like, stacked here.
Yeah, and his Regan's in the back.
This is where he lost. Like, this is where Rafa lost from 2nd to 3rd. That's why that happened.
There it is.
No need to go to the judges and ask what happened,
God damn.
That's nuts. Look how wide Regan is. Look how wide he is.
His width.
And he does look a little softer, but I think that's a muscle maturity thing. Because he can't be I don't think he's really nervous. And I don't think he's really holding water. I don't think it's a conditioning thing. I mean, he seems to be on point unless he was ready too early, but I don't think it's that deep. I think he came in on. He was just needs a little bit more maturity.
Yeah, I think
it just needs more time. Which
width
just sucks, but he's just so young. So I think that's just it is what it is.
His width,
nothing more he could have done. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the width is there, and the conditioning was there. Like he was in great shape and he was wide, but especially when you turn to the side, you can see it's just thickness. It's like you said. I mean, James just brought that. Nobody had anything for it. Is this guy? Is this Justin? Speaking of Justin.
Yeah, come on, that's just nuts. I need to get this lighting these guys have too.
Yeah, you and me both, man. I got fucking
6 days out, 260 pounds.
Holling's head.
So this is probably where he'll come at on stage, right? 260
before the show.
Yeah, look at that.
And it was.
He brought it, man. He was just dense. He was just a lot denser, and I think in person that just comes across a little bit more. It's hard to fall shallow, like during posing. You know how you can go flat and stuff like that. Not him. You know what I mean? Not when you're like that. I think he's outdone Branch. He's Branch 2.0. There's, now people will be comparing the grainy hard guys to Holly's head.
Yeah, and he was heavy. He was heavy, man. He was in like the mid 260s.
Yeah.
On stage, like I said, he could have been like an ounce or two drier, and so I think if he hadn't won this, he could have gone. I don't know if he's still going to do the British. I would if you spent this much time. doing it, or maybe he wants to take the time to do something else. But even if he hadn't won this, the amount of dryness he would have had to get, he could have got in a few days, and he would have gone to the British and fucking hurt some feelings there.
I
Like,
think with the diet that he has, I think that's not really a big deal for him, because I think those guys, he's one of those guys that you cut his food and then his body starts just burning it, so he has to end up increasing it
yeah,
anyway.
because it was
So, and he's so like regimented and on the money with everything, that him going back into a diet and getting ready for another show, I don't think that's gonna be like stress on his body. You know what I mean? I think that's just routine for him. I think
he was
it's
big on
easier
because
for him.
he's been talking about, because obviously he worked with Patrick Tour, and this was like a 6-month prep. Who were we talking about recently? I think it was Hunter. I think, where it was the same kind of deal where just they started. He was eating so much that they got him in shape on what some people's off-season diet is. I mean, almost like it was, because it was such a slow thing. That's kind of, I think it was kind of a bit of, I don't want to say luck, but some luck in terms of, because obviously him and Ian have very similar plans because they both work with Patrick, and Ian just seems to have a little more of a finicky body in terms of, obviously, I mean, he needs a lot of water, which most people don't, and it's just a lot easier for Ian to fall flat, where it seems like James, him and Patrick, it's a perfect marriage right now. James has, apparently, his problem, according to him, has always been those last 3 weeks. He gets in his head. He wants to start changing shit. Like, this isn't coming off me fast enough. Like, I need to get drier. I need to get drier. And just flattens himself out. Always came in shape, and was always, a top 3, top 4 guy.
Yeah.
But now he's a different bodybuilder. Like, Hollingshead is not. This is not the same Hollingshead we've ever seen.
Yeah, he's more focused, man, and I think also Luke has something to do with it too. So
Yeah, Luke.
yeah, he was in the zone. He had something. He had a mission, So yeah,
And that was
I think he's going to continue too. He's built up momentum just by, I think, doing more social media in general. Since he's joined Redcon, and like since he's been doing these videos and he's starting to enjoy it, I think he's built his own momentum.
Yeah.
Going into this, and now
I think
he's
people
going
have
to
seen
continue.
him because he's not, for a minute, they had to figure out how to market James, because James is not Luke. Like, Luke had that kind of in your face, irreverent, super funny, just comedic attitude, where James is he's just a pleasant old chat, man. You want to sit down and fucking have a cup of tea and just just seems like the nicest guy in the world. I mean, he's his good friends with his
I need
training.
to live with the dude. Maybe I'll bring my numbers up.
Jesus, I'd be embarrassed. But I mean, he's those people, like the owners of the King's Gym that he trains with. He's big into saying, because obviously they're not, very few people in this world are James Hollingshead strong in terms of, and that's obviously, there's powerlifters and strongmen that are doing, but for like strict reps, like, oh, let me just bench 5 plates for a few years. Like, come on, man. Like, that's, why's it got to be like that?
He's an animal, man. I think that comes with. I mean, those are those guys that lived at a young age. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they
So
started.
that's all inspiring, man.
It's very started young, and we're doing it pretty correctly from a young age. Like, I didn't get into the gym. You and I have pretty similar stories. I didn't get in there until my mid-20s. And at least me, I don't know how about for you. I was a dumbass for a little while before I started doing things correctly. So, but yeah.
So what about Samson? How do you think he looked? He got fit.
Samson. He's one of those that came in. He's super sharp. Let me see if I can find a picture. Which picture page did you see that was showing pictures of him too?
Just the winter shot. But I saw his stuff 2 days out, and from today and 1 day out. And he looked shredded. I think he was similar to Regan. He looked really pretty, had great lines. He just was small, on the smaller side. Regan's wide, but Samson's not as wide. And he had everything. He wasn't missing anything except for some size.
Yeah.
So, I think they placed him fairly too. Another reason I'm happy with this show, man. It seems like the judging was fair and the quality was nuts. It's like, it shows like this where look at those people or you think about those conversations like, oh, the 90s were just so good. It's like, okay, you know, what is this? Like, are you serious?
Here come the Brazilian fans.
Yeah.
When Brandao does not do well at a show or as well as they think he should have done, he's got some rabid fans in Brazil. Who did I see that shared a picture of the top 6? I wonder if Fuad's got any pictures. Because I know Samson's with Hostel. Because I know I saw pictures of him today, and just like you had said, he's nice and shredded.
Yeah.
Also a super good dude. I mean, just like you said, he just needs size. Because he's got Brandao.
It was hard for him to really put on size because he's been trying to compete for like the past like 4, 5, 6 months, and weird COVID like mishaps have been happening to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if Maximum Muscle's got it. Well, there's the picture of Samson right there. Diced.
Okay. I see his, yeah.
Wonder how heavy he is there.
He's got to be like 230, 240 compared to the other guys.
Oh, there he is in the lineup.
Okay.
God damn, look at James. Look at those legs. Somehow he can do that, and it doesn't it minimizes his chest, but it doesn't make his chest disappear. You know it's there. It's just these super big ass shoulders. Man, I'll be honest, right there, other than like right there, Samson's giving Regan a run for his money, I would say. He's almost in that top 4.
Yeah. It's really close.
It's just like you said, he's just got to grow. And unfortunately, with
his posing routine is good too.
Those English guys are marathon bodybuilders, man. They'll just keep going and going and going. Because unfortunately, the only way you grow is you gotta stop. You gotta give yourself some time. And like you said, with a guy like him, it's gonna be a little harder. In that middle ground, where obviously he's way too heavy to even debate going to classic. He'd have to give up so much muscle.
Yeah. He's got very classic lines. Like I'm looking at his pose routine. He's got a super classic routine and a classic shape, but he's too big. He's too big for a classic. So it's just now you just need time. Now you gotta put your head down and keep going. You know, maybe a year or two.
The heavy hitters for the classic division in this one, I usually look to you for that because I don't follow it as closely as I should.
No, man, I haven't even heard anything about this. Are they doing classic for this spring show?
It happened earlier.
Oh yeah, I don't even know, man.
The winner was this guy, Christian Zagarella. Jesus Christ.
Nope.
I have no idea who it is, but dude looks awesome.
Yeah.
That was Maximum, I think I was looking at.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah. Who's this guy? I think he got second. What did I do?
He at the Olympia, man.
It is.
Yeah, he's got some really good shots.
There's a nice crucifix.
Nice.
Dude, don't take this I know sometimes you think I'm blowing smoke up your ass, but like this reminds me very much of you, especially with the way his bicep is and the shoulders.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably got a few more pounds to hit, but I mean, it's a very similar shape, it looks like.
Yeah, I got some catching up to do, man. I'm going to keep grinding, though.
Sheesh. Looked like it was gorgeous out there. Wouldn't it be fucking awesome to go out and compete somewhere like that?
Oh, dude, absolutely.
Just fucking try. Like, I remember, because James was sharing stories where, like, him and his friends were going to just this super just beautiful looking little cafe, getting his friends got a pint, some cups of coffee, and just walking around. That'd be fucking amazing.
Hey man, you set it up. You set it up, and let me know how much.
Who's this guy? Is this the guy that got third? Oh, okay. I guess this guy won it.
Okay.
Or did he just?
They all look good. Even that guy that got second looks really good.
Okay, I don't know if he won or if this is just he got third, but it was enough points to take him through. I think you've shared this guy to me before. This Mike the Badass guy.
Oh yeah, he did. He's an
Summerfield?
amateur, I thought.
Okay, I think he got third, but he must just be able to, he must be good on points.
Let's see.
Nice.
Yeah, maybe he's in a new. Hold on. Huge congrats, second, and Mike the Badass third.
That's a nice shot. Where did that
Okay.
Who's that Cavuriel guy or whatever? I'm trying to remember his say case something. Kyle. Did he competed today, right? Or no, he's competing in Chicago, I think. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm like now I'm looking at this Mike the Badass guy. I'm like, oh, okay.
He looked good. I mean, that was
his posing routine. He's getting it.
Yeah, his legs look better.
That lineup. It's got to be weird wearing a mask on stage. It's got to be weird wearing a mask on stage. I don't know why they made him do that. At least when you go on stage, take your mask off. And then when you get back off the stage, put it back on. You don't have to ruin everything.
Let's get down to brass tacks. Let's ask the question that everyone's asking. Do you actually think Ramy tested positive for COVID? Or do you think that they knew he just wasn't in shape?
I think he tested positive for COVID. I think he probably didn't have to get tested, though.
Yeah.
He did not have to get tested. He probably, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think.
That's tough. That's tough.
I don't know.
I know.
I think he was. I think he would have been in. I don't know. It's hard to say, man.
Because honestly,
he would have been in shape.
They were discussing this on Fuad's thing, and it's an interesting conversation. He's a second place Olympian. He's big fucking Ramy. He's not. James isn't giving that much size up anymore to Ramy. If you talk just poundage, yes, Ramy's a lot heavier. James is fucking big, and if he was in a little better shape, I think like an 85% Ramy probably still could have come in and won that show and snatched it away from James. But James is closing that gap fast. You give another couple, you're not going to be able to say that anymore. And I think it's going to be – I think James is top 10 Olympia.
You got to see – yeah, I think so too. You got to see Ramy come in and not pump up. I think they were close last time. I do believe that pumping up made him look like he wasn't as conditioned. So I think they were conditioned last time. I think he'll actually come in with the best conditioning since he was with Chris Cito and since 2013. I think he'll beat those as next one.
I think Ramy from the Arnold probably could have come in and won that show. Just because, he looked fucking awesome.
Yeah, he did look pretty good.
His side shots, I'd love to see him and James' side shots side by side because Ramy's also got that giant fucking leg from the side that looks ridiculous. Like, what the hell are you? Are you not a human being? Like, you're not, like what is?
You're actually a life-size horse.
So Olympia's shaping up kind of pretty awesome. I want to see because obviously everybody's a professional. You can work with the same coach, and they shouldn't play any kind of favorites or anything. But I really want to see Ian and James next to each other because I think James is gonna win that comparison. Personally,
yeah, I think because James will be harder. As hard as Ian is, I think James will be harder. And the muscle per square inch, like per pound, like the height, I think James has more. And those shots where Ian looks really awkward, and even though he's kind of worked on them and got him a little better, I think James is so spot on with them that they'll look a little bit better. You know what I mean? So
just a little. I think the only
slightly. I mean, just
the only
I
thing
think
I
he'll
think
barely.
James gives up at all. I think James gives up his front shots a little, so he can get caught sleeping on that. The only thing I can say is I would imagine, just like Ian, if this was James's first showing and they took their notes, they figured out how they did this. I think he's going to show up even better for the Olympia. And yeah, I think maybe top 8, maybe I don't know, top 6. It really depends on who's going to show up. Because you guys, I don't know what's going to happen.
Top 8, because I think the top 5 is pretty stacked. You got Hottie, Flex, Phil, Dex.
That's what. Do we have Hottie? Do we have Bonek?
Bonak, yeah.
Are they going to be able to make it?
With Brandon, and then if we did have a Sean or something like that, I mean, you're already in 7th, 8th, and 9th.
I will say, if Hottie and Bonek can't make it, then there's going to be an asterisk by this year. Because those are 2 big heavy hitters. Hottie a top 3. Not being able to make it, that's big. And
there's going to be a big asterisk on whatever Flex gets if Hottie's not there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No matter where he places, for sure.
More people want to see Flex versus Hottie than want to see Flex versus Phil.
I'm interested. I'm interested to see it again with like good lighting, like Olympia quality lighting, because let's face it, as much as I love Flex, I mean, he lost fair and square in that last one, and they gave it to him somehow. I forgot what the show was, but I just saw Nick Strength and Power just posted about it like a couple of days ago. They reposted the video.
Was it Korea? I think it was Korea where Hottie beat him.
Yeah, I think it was either an Arnold or an Olympia after. Like, it was one of those. Like the Olympia blah, 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 like the one that they have overseas. It was one of those, I think.
Because I want to say their big famous showdown happened in Korea, and a lot of people
it might have been Korea then.
Hottie beat Flex, and they just gave it to Flex.
Yeah, it was like not. It wasn't close. It wasn't very close.
Both guys were like Flex undoubtedly has a much prettier shape than Hottie does, but Hottie, I don't think there's anybody in the IFBB that gets conditioning the way that Hottie gets. There's no one that looks like that. It's just fucking ridiculous. Like when he especially.
It was a particularly good show for Hottie and a particularly bad showing for Flex.
Right.
Like at the same time, it was too. So
because
it just was what it was that day, at least.
Well, because what we saw at the Olympia was not the best Hottie. I think if Vancouver Hottie had come to the Olympia, I think he would have gotten second place. He might have won it. I think it would have been a lot harder for the judges to justify giving that to Brandon if he had showed up like he did in Vancouver.
I could see that.
Because as it was, Brandon's got a lot of proving he's got to do this year.
I think he'll prove it though. I think the only one that can stop Brandon is Phil.
I'll be straight up with you.
That's the only one. The only one that can stop Brandon is Phil. I don't think Flex can do it because I think Brandon's gonna be putting in the work because I can see it happening.
Oh my God! Shots, his arms are.
He's recording video for Gasp, I think, too. So we should be able to see some of the stuff. Who knows when we'll see it? But I know he posted a little like sneak preview of him training for Gasp. And I mean, he's training. Avila. They train those guys crazy over there. I think one of the things he posted was, I just kept going until he said stop. Until I couldn't go anymore. That's the reps. That's the rep scheme. And I had a lot of plates on there, so it's just we're going.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I like the attitude, and he's working, man. So I don't see he didn't have any real weak points except for his legs, and I think it's obvious enough for him to know that he's been working on it since last time we saw him. And if anything that we know is that Brandon has been making big improvements these last couple of years. Ever since about 2-3 years ago, he's made huge jumps. So I think this will be another huge jump from last time.
People forget that Brandon's been coming for a minute. He was coming while Phil was still competing. Like Brandon's been coming up and making improvements. His legs have been getting better and better and better. Once his legs get really good, he's got gifts that even Phil doesn't have. Like especially across the shoulders and his width and his shape. He doesn't have the muscle bellies like Phil does, that just cartoonish look that Phil can get. But I don't think it's going to be an open.
I think Phil is a cartoon, man. I will say that Phil. I don't think Phil. I just don't think he's. I don't think Phil at 100% is not beatable. Not by 100% Brandon. It's just I think Phil is just like, Phil's just too much. You know what I mean? He's just too much. That's what it is. But it's just too much.
There's nothing. At this point in his career, is Phil capable of being 100% Phil? Is the question.
Yeah, that's on him. So it's like Phil's almost going against himself. If he's gonna win it or lose it against himself. If he poses first and he lets go of the pose last instead of getting to the pose last and then barely hitting it and then letting go first and then trying to amp up the crowd more than pose for the judges, and he's got his stomach out instead of concentrating on getting it in and holding it. If he's doing all that playing around and not taking it seriously, then he's gonna get his ass whipped. But if he acts like he wants it, does what he's supposed to do, hits it, and proves, why he's number one, why he's the champion, then he'll get it. He didn't do that last time, so
no. And
he can't be salty about it, but he can redeem himself for sure.
He's definitely got it in him. And if only he knows. I mean, if he fixed that midsection, then it's going to be a battle. It's just a really exciting Olympia for everything that COVID has done. I'm excited. Like the Open is exciting again. The 212, I know you give me endless shit for being excited about the 212, but I think it's exciting because I think.
No, it's exciting this year. The Olympia is, at least, yeah.
No offense to anyone else going to Chicago, but fuck, man, Keown's got that with a bow on it. Yeah. I don't see anybody that's going to beat Keown, and so we're going to see Keown versus George at the Olympia, which is just going to be. I mean, obviously, you're going to see all the other people in the 212 as well.
Don't forget Sean Clarita. You got to put some respect on his name. At least you got to put some respect. You got to put some respect on his name, man. You can't say the other guys. You got to put him in there. You got to say his name.
You're absolutely right. Especially, I mean, just in general, he's obviously he's an assassin, and he deserves some respect just from the way he showed up at the last Olympia. I mean, you can't count him out. I think. I hate to say it, but
I think he can beat George if he improves the way he did from 2 years ago to last year. But I don't think he can. I think he can beat Keon, man. I think he can beat Derek Lunsford.
Well, yeah.
So I'll say that. So
honestly,
who else is up there? So you got to say him for sure.
Lunsford had two shots up at bat and botched it both times. And honestly, I think he lost his window. I think if he had showed up and won these two times, he would have had enough momentum that he could have had a flex type mentality where they would have had to really come in sharp to beat him. But there's nobody to blame but himself. He botched it twice. There's no momentum. No one's even really thinking about Derek Lunsford.
Yeah, I think he botched it the first time. I think the second time he was just – I think it was more muscle maturity than him really botching it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think his window might be gone. He can prove us all wrong.
I think he's going to be one of those that's probably just he's going to have to pull a flex, and he's just going to have to go to the Open. To get the maturity that he needs, I think he's just going to have to get heavier, and he can do it. I mean, he can get comfortably heavier. Jewett also. I forgot all about John Jewett. He's gonna be in the two. I don't know.
Jewett, and then you got Bo.
He got fourth at the O. Did that qualify him for the Olympia automatically, or does he still need to qualify?
Oh, I'm unsure, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how the 212 works, but if he makes it, that'll be interesting to see because he made a lot of improvements. He looked real good at the last Olympia. Thought that was a very well deserved fourth place. I'm excited about Classic, obviously. Breon's.
I think Steve Lorius will be up there too.
Huh?
I got Steve Lorius and Courage and Terrence coming up to call some noise for the C-Bum and Breon.
I think Lorius has the potential to really just if he nailed it, I think he could take out Bumstead, and I don't know if Bumstead could get it back. for some reason, he just seems to not be able to nail it. And it's real difficult at that elite level. I don't want to sit here and make it sound like it's easy. There's a lot to figure out, but he's been with Neil Hill for a while now, so hopefully they're figuring it out. He is one of the 10 million fucking people that are suddenly under HD muscle, so he's got a good brand behind him. Me personally, I think Terrence Ruffin's an assassin. I think he's coming. I think he got I think he got a little shafted at that Arnold, and I don't think it's going to happen again. Especially he's been working.
I think he thinks he got a little shafted himself too. So
that's good because I think that's going to give him that fire. And
he looks like he's. I think he's coming too, man. Yeah.
That picture that he posted the other day. Let me bring it up because he works with hypertrophy coach as an actual trainer, and he posted this picture and was talking about. He can still grow. Let me see. It's rough. Diesel. Where is that picture? This. Sitting right around 190. I mean, damn.
Yeah.
And can still grow because I think he mentions in there that Chris and Breon being 30 pounds over, and he can still get bigger. Look at that shot. Damn.
His legs are intense, man.
It's ridiculous. I mean, you and I both got a lot of love for Courage, and Courage is just such a sweet looking. He's just such an awesome guy, and he's got it in him. I hope he can.
Pause. He's such a sweet looking guy. Whoa. I didn't say all that. I guess he seems like a nice guy. I'll tell you to that.
Anyways, you know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, I gotta give you. I gotta razz you.
So, but yeah, it's and you got that. Is he Korean or Chinese? That guy that the Branch 2015 Branch or something.
Oh, Branch Chen. I'm not sure. Let's see.
Looking ridiculous.
I don't know. You can put him anywhere, man. Chen Kang, China, Chinese, yeah.
Let's see if I can.
I mean, his wheels, his vacuum, the way he's put together. 6 weeks before. Okay, this says 6 weeks before 2019 Olympic. But yeah, that dude's nuts, man.
Branch 2015. Him squatting a little bit. I don't know where is this from. Oh yeah, here you go. That's what you were
He's
talking
like
about.
a more classic version of Arash because he's got more bubbly shape and a little bit more classic, lines.
Look at that upper. For some reason in classic, this upper quad that's so hard to get for the open guys. There's so many dudes in the classic that it looks amazing. I don't know if it's just a purely weight thing or if it's just they don't have the ego to go to just chase poundage, so they train it smarter. But you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You don't see that a lot in the open guys. You see it sometimes. I mean, I think James had a good bit of it. And James, it wasn't diced like that. It was just a slab of fucking steak on his thigh. But
doing those adductors and then doing those, leg lifts, man. Or that leg lift movement,
So, classic is going to be exciting for a while. I think Breon is shook. Seaboom got in his head. And it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, Breon, he got nice and plump and fat this offseason. I mean,
Breon is shook, man. Breon's super shook. He's I don't know, man. It's going to come down to, he's going to come in condition. But if he poses like he did last time, where he kind of did the same thing, he wasn't very composed, when it came to actually doing the quarter turns. And he kind of lost it, it was like that posing conditioning got to him more than anything.
Yeah.
And especially the ab and thigh and stuff like that. Like Breon's got the signature smile, right? He smiles doing everything. The ab and thigh, he was struggling. He was blowing out air, trying to gasp. And Seaboom had a smirk on his face and the mustache, and that was it was a huge contrast, And he was visibly struggling in some of those things. So it made him coming in a little bit more conditioned. It kind of negated that.
Yeah.
Is what I saw. And then also, if the judges are trying to go a different direction, then I think him pulling a vacuum maybe once or twice, even if he doesn't agree that that's a classic thing to do to win the Olympia, if you want to win, if winning is more important than what you think about it or how you feel, then I would try to hit a vacuum at least in 1 or 2 shots. Especially, he's got a good, like a crucifix with a vacuum or maybe a victory pose with a vacuum. He doesn't have to hit all his shots like that.
Yeah.
But if he includes something like that, then the judges I think they'll reward him. They can have it gives them the opportunity to reward him for trying. If he doesn't, then he's leaving that out.
He's either got to play the game or he's got to go the way of George and Keon and move up. I don't personally.
I don't think he wants to move up.
No, I don't either. And I don't want to get – I'm not popular, so I don't think I'd get the treatment that Nick Strength and Power got from Breon. I don't mean to insult Breon because Breon is just an incredibly nice, pretty genuine guy. You've obviously had really positive interactions with him. I know he was you got that video message from him.
He sent me a video message telling me to have the eye of the tiger and go get it 2017 Nationals.
I want
that video meant a lot to me. I really looked up to him. Really look up to him.
Yeah,
he's the man. So.
He reps the sport well. He was a great Mr.
So everything I say comes with that. I never insult. All the stuff I say, I never mean it to with any kind of bad.
I bring that up just to say that I don't mean this personally or mean, but I think he's seen his last title. I don't think he's ever going to get it back from. I don't think he'll get it back from Bumstead, and I think Bumstead probably only has a couple times before some of these. It's a brand new division, and there's just some monsters coming up, man. There's some assassins that are
there's some monsters. Yeah, they're poking their heads out already. So, yeah.
I feel for you because that's that fucking division.
Yeah. But I'm cool with it, man. I know, I feel like I can truly assess where I'm at and where I will fall, when it's time for my pro debut and where my space is in the sport at the time, realistically. So, I'm pretty happy about where it is, so where I see it. So,
yeah, you're looking great. It's just you like to make it hard on yourself.
Yeah, I need more size, man. I can't have size on the table. Not with my hamstrings, my forearms and calves, little stuff like that. I just want to fill in the blanks a little bit more. Give me 3 or 4 more pounds of lean tissue.
You'll get it, man.
And we'll see if I can get that in 1 year. But I'm not going to be pushing it. But yeah, I'm thinking about this time next year or maybe 8-9 months from now.
Fucking A.
If the food, the way the food is now, I'm like, I need to go back to eating. But 2 of my meals have 3 cups of rice in it. A couple have 2.5 cups post-workout, 120 grams of cream of rice with a banana and honey. I'm eating, so.
Yeah. Well, man, I got to help with feedings, and my wife wants me to help her decorate for the Halloween. I don't really give 2 shits about Halloween, but she is a fucking trooper and a rock star, and she does a shitload for me, so I need to just suck it up and help her out and stop being an asshole.
Yeah, Brittany surprise decorated all our stuff. I have a skull sitting underneath the TV and a lava lamp and a skull and stuff on the kitchen table. We have orange LED lights above the cabinets in the kitchen, so it's just spooky. And hidden. They're hidden. I didn't even know how she knew how to set that up. And I got a scarecrow and a skeleton around the mailbox. I just came home to it. I don't know who she's doing that for. It's not for me. So.
Yeah, it's pretty poverty. We got some webbing and we got a couple little light up ghost things or whatever. So it is what it is. It's fall up here finally, so it's getting down into the 60s and then 50s. So I'm happy as a pig and shit. Trying to find all the sugar-free pumpkin shit that I can. I know I get my little bites after a workout, and they have motherfucking pumpkin little bites that I just.
Oh yeah, I think I had those. Yeah. So those little bites are where it's at, man. I'm an advocate of those. I
I
try
love
not to. I try to put something in there that I know works. So I'll use those until I hear they don't.
it. Yeah.
I
But
like those over Pop Tarts or some other things, but I like Rice Krispie treats too.
I like the little bites. I like
Yeah,
because for a
I
while
figured as much.
I was
Especially
eating.
if you get the good moist bag, the nice moist, a good solid fresh bag where the expiration date's way off
Oh
in the
yeah.
future. Yeah,
That was, my
you get
first
the good
couple
one.
that day, they were just fucking wet.
Yeah.
Sticky. Anyways, before we keep saying things like wet, sticky, and moist. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. We will definitely be hitting this up a little more frequently now that my son uh, respects my sleep a little more. I don't feel like I'm walking around just zombified. But
All
yeah,
right.
definitely we'll do this again for Chicago and just try to hit it up a little more regularly. It's getting down to the wire now. I got 2 months till the fucking Olympia, son.
Yes,
So
sir. I'm down, man. Of course. Appreciate you calling me up.
yeah, man. Catch you. Well, I'll send you my pictures tomorrow and we'll chat.
All right. Later, man.
Later.